Get kind of our acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Range Rover Sport SVR. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Range Rover here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Sport SVR. Check out the inventory link below. Let's get right into the video. So under the hood, we have a supercharged 5-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 20 on the highway, with power outputs being 575 horsepower and then 516 pound-feet of torque. Now we have the key fob here because we have the cool light function. We can turn the headlights with the key fob, which is pretty cool. But before we go over that, notice how we have the accent piece here at the top with the Range Rover logo. And then we have another Range Rover logo here on the front with the Land Rover logo just down below. And then we have the SVR logo. Lots of logos, lots of stuff happening. But look at the venting here on the front end. There are parking sensors that have been integrated into all of it. Super aggressive. And then, like I said, you've got that to turn on or off the lights. And then you do have the LED accent light that kind of pops around there as well. And other than that, that is the front end on the SVR. Now coming on the side here, we've got 285mm tires wrapped around 22-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And I love how the wheels are all blacked out. I think it contrasts nicely with this particular Sport that is in red. But notice how we have the red brake caliper right there that's got, again, another Land Rover logo on it. And then we have another Land Rover logo right there in the center of the wheel. And there's a quick look at the front suspension. Body painted fender flare. And then you got another black accent piece that is very similar to what you have on the hood in terms of just kind of what they're going for theme-wise. And then notice how the mirror's been blacked out, and then everything here is also blacked out, including the roof and the pillars and all that, which I think looks really sharp because it kind of gives it a smaller, sleeker type look. And then here is your full side view. And look at all the body lines across. This red paint really makes them pop. And then just look how oversized the fender flares are too. Looks great. So here's our key fob. Notice how we have the unlock, the lock, and that's for the lights, and then this is for the rear hatch. And then we have the SV logo on the back of the key fob. So if you ever are without your vehicle and you need to show people that you have a cool vehicle, you just gotta flash that SV logo. Anyways, let's pop here into the rear. Notice how we have a cargo cover already built in, and then carpeting even here on the sides, which is actually soft to the touch. And then you've got the raise and lower function here in the rear to make loading a little bit easier. We've got the 12 volt right there. All of our floor mats just down below, and you guys can see the rest of the goodies that come with this. And then when you're done, just press that button, and then that will close up the rear hatch. And something that I learned today about this is pretty cool is if you actually, and you know, obviously don't try to like purposely try this, it's just kind of like a safety mechanism. If you try to open up the hatch and there's something behind it and it senses it, it'll actually stop opening it up so that it doesn't collide with that thing, which I think that's pretty cool. Now finishing things here off with the rear, notice that we have the 3D look with the taillights. It looks really good at night. If you ever have a chance to see one of these at night, then you will understand what I'm talking about. I love how the black accent piece goes all the way down. And then we got another Range Rover logo, SVR logo. And then we have the parking sensors here along the bottom with the exhaust tips on either side, and then the receiver hitch there in the center portion. And yeah, again, finished in red. This thing just pops. So here's a door panel at the rear. Notice we have beautiful leather all over, and then down the lower portion of the door panel. And then we have speakers here for the Meridian sound system. We've got our door lock and unlock controls right there. Love the look of the door handle and then the window control. Everything's very nice from a material standpoint. The fit and finish is just fantastic. And then here are the seats in the back. They have the bucket type seat look. You guys can see the brown leather with the suede there. And then notice we have the black leather with the brown contrasted stitching. Looks great. We actually get rubber floor mats, and I'll pop in here quickly so you guys can see. Legroom. Headroom's really good. And then obviously we got the front bucket seats, which you can see here. Go over that in just a moment. We got our climate controls down here for the rear passengers. We have our little charging area. And then this actually does pull out to be an armrest and some cup holders as well. And let's head to the front also, SVR. Now here's the door panel at the front. Again, we've got the brown leather here with the black leather just down below. And then you guys can see the tray right here. That's some extra storage space. Looks really nice. And then we've got our memory seat function. There's 3 different settings, more speakers for the Meridian sound system. And by the way, this one has a window tint, and it's got clear bra on the front end as well, if you guys are wondering. But anyways, Here are the seats at the front. So again, we've got the leather with the suede, and then notice that we've got the nice bolstering right here. All of it looks great. All of your power adjustments. Got a Range Rover logo. Another one on the floor mats. There's the pedals, and that's for the rear hatch. And then the adjustment for the steering wheel is power. It's on the other side because, well, it's British. But anyways, there's what we're looking before we pop in. Now here is the steering wheel. Notice we have beautiful black leather at the top and at the bottom with the SVR logo. And then perforated brown leather here on the side. We have our cruise control heated steering wheel button. Really nice paddles there on the back. Controls for the center stack, your voice command, phone controls. And then you have your turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. And then notice even the airbag cover has nice leather and stitching on it, so it all looks very premium. Now here is the center digital gauge cluster. You can press the menu button on the steering wheel and then it lets you scroll through these different screens to give you different bits of information here on the SVR itself. And then we have some different drive modes that will pop up here into the center. I'm not going to go through all of them right now. I'm just going to go into, let's go into the dynamic program. So you guys can see that right here. You guys can see it popping in the dynamic program right there in the center portion. But it actually shows you stuff there, which I think is pretty cool. Now we have the first infotainment screen, and if we pop it into reverse, now it's got the backup camera with trajectory lines. They do turn with the steering wheel, and then notice you have that camera button right there that you can press, and that'll change the viewpoint, which is definitely nice. Now going over the rest of the infotainment system, first off, response time is great. They've used this touchscreen for a few years now, and it doesn't feel dated. Like, it still feels really nice. Response time on it still feels great. You guys notice right there, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto as well, and then we have our dynamic eye, which you have to be in dynamic mode to see, but it shows you everything with that program. But yeah, overall, again, like I said, easy to use. I like how they have the vehicle dimensions and then the off-roading stuff, even though someone's probably never going to take a sports off-road. And then if you press the camera button, notice how you have the camera view, and you can actually press this to go through all of the different viewpoints with the camera system itself, and that's that. Now down below, this is kind of like our seat climate control / drive mode select screen. So first off, you got the climate tab, which you can go into, and then you have the seats, which you can go into as well. We have heated and cooled seats. What else would you expect? I mean, it's a crazy luxury vehicle. And then if we go over to the vehicle tab, notice how we have all of the different programs. So I'll press the button up and I'll show you guys that in a moment. But you can actually click the programs here if you want. So you can see that it goes like that, or I can do the dial, and the dial actually has a little bit quicker response time for the different programs here. And all these off-road ones, it's cool that it has it, and it actually changes the air suspension in this to raise or lower based on the program. But again, are you really going to take your SVR off-road? Let's be honest, you're probably going to sit in, you know, these programs or just have it in automatic. We have our climate controls on either side here for the Sport, which if you press them in, shows you the seat thing, so that is pretty cool. You guys know I've always been a fan of that. And then we have the really nice blacked out trim right here for the cup holder area. Got the shifter for the 8-speed automatic, and then again, it does have a manual shift function. And just notice the attention to detail and everything here in the interior. Off-road cruise control, got our stability control. This is for the air suspension, and then the drive mode select, and then hill descent control, low range parking brake. And guess what? We have my favorite center console ever. It's the refrigerator center console. You just press that and then that'll turn it on. You have the two different levels of refrigeration. It also illuminates to let you know that it is on. And then you guys can see that little area. And then coming to the glove box, we have the dual glove box. So you have the one at the top, then you have the one at the bottom, both lined with felt. SVR logo, and again, the whole dash covered in leather, so material use is top notch. Now here at the top, we got the controls here for the full panoramic sunroof, and notice how the shade lets in just a tiny amount of light so that the interior is illuminated slightly so it doesn't feel so dark and stuffy, and then all black headliner. Now here is the window sticker for the Range Rover Sport SVR. Feel free to freeze the frame if you want to read all of the standard equipment. And then you can see the optional equipment here. Base MSRP $115,500, and you can see the stuff that this particular Sport comes with from the factory. And there's our total MSRP, $134,180. Let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the SVR. There's your visibility of the hood, and then you guys can see the heads-up display. Both of the mirrors that have blind spot monitoring. And the rest of the rear. And let's set off. We are setting off here in the SVR. And first off, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So with the SVR, this is tuned more towards the sporty side of things. So it does have a firmer ride for a Land Rover vehicle. That being said, all Land Rover vehicles are actually very smooth and comfortable. And so this is still better than your regular run-of-the-mill vehicle. That being said though, if you compare this to like a regular sport or, you know, something like a full-sized Land Rover, this is not nearly as smooth. So just kind of take that into account. Moving from that, very well insulated cabin, really nice. So that is all great. Seats, they are also on the firmer side here for the SVR. I like it. It feels like I'm in, you know, an actually like a sporty vehicle, not just something that has, you know, sporty badges thrown on it. Like the whole experience with this kind of screams that it is sportier, which is great. I actually am going to throw it into the dynamic program. And going into the dynamic program, it also automatically does the exhaust. You guys can see the exhaust button right there. You can press that, and that'll basically throw the exhaust on. And there's the little helmet next to it, and that also goes to the dynamic program setup, so you can kind of change things if you want things to be in different setups, basically. But yeah, we're gonna go to the factory setup for the dynamic, so you guys can see, got that pressed. So it's going to basically stiffen everything up, including the suspension, and yeah, that's kind of the initial stuff. Now, while I'm stopped here, I'm going to try to capture this on camera, but I'm not sure it's going to happen, is when you have the exhaust in the sport setting where everything's open, it makes gargles just like what you used to get with the F-Type R that doesn't really do anymore, sadly, but yeah, it sounds really good. This thing sounds so nice and aggressive, and we'll get kind of our acceleration here. Oh, that sounds good. You can pull out RAV4. And then here's the gargles. Oh, it sounds so good. You don't get a whole lot of supercharger whine, even though it is a 5-liter supercharged V8. It's mostly exhaust. Monstrous. This has got to be like one of the best sounding, if not the best sounding cars on sale today. It is just fantastic how good this sounds. It's just such an experience. But let's get into signing things up here with the SVR. So first off, especially in this red paint, this thing looks just beautiful. I love it. On the exterior, really stands out. I know most people usually go for stealth colors with these: white, silver, black. I think red though, man, that's the way to go. It looks great. Interior wise, it is it's amazing. It's a very nice interior. Fit and finish is amazing. Quality is amazing. Anyone that says that Range Rovers don't have good quality, yeah, maybe the older ones, but these newer ones, the quality is top notch. It's really nice stuff, and gotta love those gargles. Oh man, that is amazing. That just made my day. That just made my day. So anyways, continuing along with everything. So looks amazing, sounds amazing, driving's great. Again, like I said, it is a little bit on the stiffer side from a driving perspective compared to other Range Rovers, but it still feels like a luxury car basically. But again, it's got that aggressive edge, which makes sense. It's an SVR, people. You want it to be a little bit more aggressive. So I do have to give this a rating, and that being said, I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. The reason I'm not giving it a perfect score is because there is another version of the SVR called the Carbon Edition that I reviewed last year, and that one is my personal pick. That one's like perfect. This one is almost there, but it's not a Carbon Edition. It doesn't have all the cool carbon fiber accenting, but still, it's such a cool vehicle, and it sounds amazing, and that is the Range Rover Sport SVR. And let's get some things up for a video on this 2022 Range Rover Sport SVR. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover of downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Sport SVR. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.